Welcome to Raiders of the Lost Podcast, the ultimate film and TV podcast. We're your hosts, James and Anthony. Today's episode will be on Jordan Peele's film, Nope, with special guest, Cinema Joe. Hello, movie friends. Welcome back to the show. We have a great episode for you. We're going to be doing Nope, and we do have a special guest, Cinema Joe, here. We're very excited to talk about this excellent film. Yeah, we just saw Nope last week in IMAX, and also, before we begin, we just want to dedicate this episode to one of our biggest fans and a loss in the Raiders of the Lost podcast community, Caleb, who passed away at the age of 14 to cancer. Fortunately, we were lucky enough to have a correspondence with him, and we sent him some merch back in April, so just keep him in your thoughts and prayers and his family. So this episode is dedicated to Caleb. Now let's get into Nope, and we want to introduce our special guest, Cinema Joe. Joe, welcome to the show. You're the first in-person guest for our new studio, which is still under construction decoration.
Coming along.
But welcome. Introduce yourself to everybody.
Thank you. An honor to be the very first guest in the set. I can confirm, everybody listening, it looks really good. Looks really good.
Can you confirm that there are two of us?
There are two people here. It's not just one person. So that has been confirmed. Wow, what to say? My name is Joe. You can call me Cinema Joe. I guess that's what they know me on the TikTok.
On the TikTok, the interwebs.
The interwebs, as they may call it.
Yeah, you blew up on TikTok. You do great movie reviews.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a wild ride. It's been a wild ride. I never thought TikTok could do that, or
Same.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah, it can provide a lot of great things. So yeah, I talk about movies, I review them, I rank them, I do almost everything, just talk about random things.
I like how you'll do category lists, like in a genre or in a specific kind of, like, there are very niche things people ask for, like the most random, like, can you make a list of like this certain kind of movie with this certain thing in it? And you do a great job with that.
There's always some random requests, like, can you list movies where the guy murders the other guy, but they have, they're missing an arm? I'm like, so let me find 10 movies that match that description.
There are 10 movies like that, probably. And your your letterbox is excellent as well. You actually have a ton of followers, 17K or something.
Yeah, Letterboxd has been, it's tough because it's a really niche app, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's not like Facebook or TikTok where anybody can just join, but not everybody just joins. That's been like my haven for movie loving, right? I typically put my more in-depth thoughts. Most of the time I do. Sometimes I'll throw a one-liner out there for my review. But I try to do a little bit more in-depth reviews on Letterboxd, and that's been really great. You know, meet with other people who are really into movies and get their thoughts. And sure, there's a few comments that say I'm a dummy. But
we get that a lot.
It happens. It happens.
We get called bros a lot. I don't know why.
Interesting. Just like film bros?
Just bros. Just bros. I don't know why, because we're like the biggest dorks we know. I have an Orkai sword on the set. I hate the film bro term.
Wait, hold on. Are we saying like bros like?
Well, we college bros. Like college bros.
Like college bros. Oh, got it.
But I also I don't like the film bro term because when we grew up, like, it was cool it was like unique to listen to, like, independent film and foreign cinema and old films, and you were called like a film lover or a cinephile, but now it's called a film bro, and it's like people call you a film bro if like you aren't obsessed with Marvel or DC, and it's like that doesn't make me a film bro. I just love movies. The
term is interesting. It's taken on a few different definitions. I feel like I don't even know what the definition is anymore.
Me either.
At first it was somebody who has like a superficial knowledge of film but pretends they know film. So like, if you're obsessed with like only The Godfather and Taxi Driver and Pulp Fiction, you're a film bro. But then I've seen people call other people film bros because they like, foreign cinema or international cinema or older cinema. So I don't even know if people know the definition of film bro anymore.
Dudes that like movies.
It's an interesting word for sure.
Now, where can people find you besides on TikTok at Cinema Joe, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I'm mainly on TikTok. That's where my following has gathered. So you can find me there. I'm on Instagram, same name. Letterboxd, not the same name. It's just my first name, which is Joe, and then my last name, which is Aragon, which is a pretty cool last name.
That's cool name.
Very Lord of the Rings-esque. And then I have my own podcast called House of Cinema that I host.
House of Cinema.
That I have guests come on, and we just talk about movies, we'll rank things, or we'll just chat, kind of like Raiders here. So
we'll have to come on sometime.
Yeah. I don't have a cool studio like you guys do.
You'll get there, man. We didn't have one. We started out with just a plain wall and a curtain behind each of us. That was it. And then it was Stanley Kubrick 2001: Space Odyssey curtain and a Jaws curtain, and then a table that James built himself that was very crooked. It was wobbly. It got warped.
Is it like the
different? Wobbly. Hey man, I built a table. It stood up. It was very Michael Scott-esque.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Dinner party Michael Scott.
The little upright shelf.
What kind of wood was it?
Is this pine? I think it's redwood or cedar. It's pine. I love that TV.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're here to talk about Nope. So let's get into the film, fellas. So Nope was written and directed by Jordan Peele. On a budget of $68 million, this film so far has grossed an impressive $44 million in its opening weekend, which is excellent for an original intellectual property.
Rated R, too.
Yeah, rated R. It's about two siblings who run a California horse ranch, discover something wonderful and sinister in the skies above, while the owner of an adjacent theme park tries to profit from the mysterious and otherworldly phenomenon. This episode will have spoilers, FYI, so just be warned in advance. This film stars Daniel Kaluuya, Keke Palmer, Stephen Yeun, Brendan Pereira, Michael Wincott, Ren Schmidt, and Keith David. All right, gentlemen, opening thoughts, first reactions to Nope. How'd you feel about it?
I adored it. It was hysterical. It was horrifying at times. It was really unique. He took a common trope in genre and theme, and he put a new spin and twist on it. It was unexpected. What you think of this movie walking into it is not at all what happens. I think that it was a very surprising, refreshing film. Jordan Peele has become, on my ranking, one of the best filmmakers working today after this film. Like, he really is top tier, one of the best we have in America.
Joe, what about you?
Did it make $100 million in the open weekend?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not like
Not
James
yet.
predicted.
So I owe Anthony dinner.
It's going to be a nice dinner.
I'm curious, that plot description you read, was that like straight from IMDb or something?
Wikipedia.
Wikipedia.
Whoa,
Yeah.
Wiki.
Only asked because I went into this fairly blind. I watched trailer 1 when it was first announced, and that was it. And I've lately been avoiding trailers because they've been very revealing, and that I feel like that plot description itself was semi-revealing. I had no idea Stephen Yeun's role in this movie. I knew he was doing something in a rodeo because of his costume, but I didn't know, he was trying to profit off the creature, the alien. So like that, even that plot summary, I feel like I would have been not upset if I would have read that, but like that's crazy to think that they already put that on Wiki.
Yeah.
Unrelated to all of that, I'm obsessed with this movie. I've seen it twice already. I really love everything about it. It is, in many ways, it feels like 21st century Jaws, and I think that's a good way to put it. I didn't expect that, and I think what you guys were saying, that it's not what people will expect. Even watching the trailer, I feel like it went no direction that I ever expected.
Yeah, I adored it. And I went in with no expectations, but I was expecting it to be great. Jordan Peele, obviously, with Get Out, is one of the best horror films this century for sure. And like you said, Spielberg, his influence and his love for Spielberg's all over this movie, as well as Carpenter, Hitchcock. You can see Hitchcockian elements as well. Also, I felt like War of the Worlds was a huge influence. Just the sound design of the alien and everything like that. It's like cowboys versus aliens in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And it's just like a blend of sci-fi, horror, Western, which we don't really get a lot of in that genre. It's pretty rare. I mean, it's maybe just a couple handfuls of films that fit that horror, sci-fi, Western genre, which is just so fun. It's very funny as well. And so many great themes, whether it's technology versus like old ways, kind of like OJ's characters. Like he's got a flip phone like Anthony used to have over there.
Wow.
And whereas his sister Em is more like hip with the times of technology. The obsession with spectacle and the movie event being a spectacle itself, which is what Jordan Peele wanted to do because, during COVID, he got the idea and he wanted his next film to be a spectacle. He's worried about the future of cinema. So he's like, I need to make something big, something grand, and just make a classic summer blockbuster. And he really just pulled it off, something so unique, wholly original, and an alien we've never seen before. Like whenever I watch a horror movie, sci-fi movie, alien movie, my number one requirement is show me something I've never seen before, and this was it. Now, before we continue, the best way to support Raiders of the Lost Podcast, besides using our coupon codes, is to become a patron at patreon.com/Raiders of the Lost Podcast, where you get awesome perks like personalized videos, Patreon shoutouts on the show, as well as every patron gets access to our weekly bonus episode. $10, $25, and $100 tier patrons have access to our Discord, which we interact with every day and have watch parties. We even had an in-person movie screening for Nope with our Discord patrons. $25 tier and $100 tier patrons get their own custom episode. You pick the topic, we do it. $100 tier patrons, you are the chosen ones. You are an executive producer on the main episodes of the show. And after 3 months of being a chosen one patron, you get to come on the show for a guest segment. We also launched our podcast, Masterclass, last year. So for anyone who wants to start a podcast or improve their current podcast, our 22 chapter 46 video lesson course will give you all the secrets behind the scenes of our show. The link is podcastmasterclass.com. www.teachable.com, or it's right on the homepage of our website, raidersofthelostpodcast.com. Be sure to check out all of our sources of content, our merch. Follow, subscribe wherever you're listening. Thanks for tuning in. Leave those 5-star reviews on Apple and Spotify. Now let's get back into Nope.
Yeah, he took like the flying saucer that we've seen a 1,000 times, and he's like, what if it's an animal? What if it's a creature? And I thought it was a really brilliant take on the entire alien trope that we've seen so many times, like so many other filmmakers that just would have been the same thing. And like the idea that this is a living being and people being lifted up into a flying saucer, they're not being experimented on, it's being sucked into its stomach to be fed.
Yeah.
It's really brilliant. And I think it was his approach in taking the expected and subverting it. I thought it was smart to also set it in like a desert ranch in he filmed in California, but there's no crop circles, there's no like corn stalks anywhere. He got rid of like a lot of the tropes. It's a ranch, not a farm. I think that it was just really unique experience for our lover of sci-fi. And I think one of the smartest things Jordan Peele did was he hired Hoyt van Hoytema as a cinematographer. He didn't shoot his first 2 films, but Hoyt has been by far one of the best DPs working last 10 years. He's elevated Chris Nolan's work, James Gray with the Ad Astra. So he made Her with Spike Jonze. Really phenomenal filmmaker. And he brought a new visual language that Jordan hadn't had in his other films. And it really added a visual dynamism that like really set it apart from other sci-fi films.
I'm curious if you guys found the movie actually scary. I feel like a lot of responses I've seen are either on the opposite side of the spectrum. Some people found it absolutely terrifying, or some people thought it was lame or kind of boring. I'm on the spectrum of this was terrifying. I thought it was the most like just jarring thing to watch, this creature sucking people. And then not only that, there's that shot where it shows all the people inside of the alien like screaming for their life as they're being essentially digested.
Yeah.
I'm just curious if you guys found it scary or not.
I found this movie scary. I scare easy in movies, but I like that. Like I jumped at this movie, like literally out of my clothes, like I always do. I jumped out of my clothes in the black phone. I'm like Huey on The Boys. But the scene where, again, this episode of spoilers.
Yes,
where we already spoiled stuff.
We spoiled a lot of it. So
The alien's a ship.
The fake horse, when it falls down while OJ's in his truck and it goes through the windshield, I jumped. That was a great jump scare, and it was an excellent and unique jump scare because we weren't really expecting it, and so that got me real good. But the tension that Jordan Peele created with like wanting to see the aliens, like we had like the costumes that Jupe Ricky was like promoting and selling at his ranch. And then like when OJ was in the ranch at night after Ghost got out, and like I thought those were good aliens, and I was like, oh my god, I was like mouth agape, like watching, like holy crap.
I was like, is he gonna go comedy with the aliens? I was like all for it. I was cracking up.
And so like I was pretty scared this movie, but it's not as scary as I would say like something like The Black Phone, where I was a little more scared of that. But I think like he captured a great tone of fear, like War of the Worlds, and especially the War of the Worlds is, I love that movie. If anyone hasn't seen it in a while, go revisit it. Especially, I watched it on a plane. There was turbulence in the opening scene with the attacks. I thought I was gonna have a heart attack.
Great long take,
but it's excellent. It felt so much like that. Except the one thing with War of the Worlds, we never got to see inside the ships, and we seldom get to see inside ships with alien abductions or alien movies. But to see what's inside there, and I think one of the most terrifying parts is when the people, after they've been sucked into the digestive tract of this alien, and they're just like being suffocated and digested, and you just hear their screams hovering around above the people's heads. That is terrifying.
Yeah. So I found it to be his most frightening film. I'm on your camp. Like I was terrified from the moment when OJ figured out and he said it's alive. I was like, holy shit, it's a creature. And then like that scene, like we just said, when the people from the show are being sucked up, and I found my mouth was open during that sequence of rising inside the digestive tract of this animal. I was like freaking out. Like, I found that to be absolutely truly horrifying. And then after that, the rest of the film I found to be very scary, because you're like, that can happen to any of them. Like, this is horrifying. They're not just going to be sucked up and experimented on and then drop back
probes
on Earth.
Up their butts.
Yeah, but then they wake up with no memory and they're okay. Like, they're going to be eaten.
Yeah.
And there's something just really terrifying about slowly being digested by a giant being, like just slow. That's like a slowest painful way of dying you can imagine,
like a snake.
Then the acid of some giant monster's stomach. I found that to be terrifying. And The fear I was feeling the entire film, because what was really funny, because we saw this on IMAX. You guys know we love IMAX.
And he filmed it in IMAX film.
It's the full frame. It fills up the entire movie screen. But while like OJ and the other characters are, when they're looking up, looking for it, I was literally like leaning forward and looking up to the top of the screen, looking for it. And Jordan did this great way of filming it from down below. We're not up in the clouds with it. That wouldn't have worked if we were up at the level of the alien watching it hover through clouds. So many other filmmakers would have done that.
Yeah.
But staying in the perspective of the people, because that's who we were relating to, that's who the story is, that makes it more terrifying because it can just bob and weave through the clouds. It's so silent, you don't even know if it's there. I found myself just like peering upwards at the top of the screen for most of the film. I've never had that experience before.
Same. And since we're on the alien, how about we'll just talk about it real quick. They call it Jean Jacket, which was the horse that couldn't be tamed, that by his father or by OJ. It's not a flying saucer. It is an organic being, an alien probably. It has claimed its territory in the ranch area. It is hunting. It's intelligent, obviously, because it seems to use the voices of the people and the screams of them to tease its prey in a lot of ways. It gets angry when they try to fight back, and it just pours all the blood and stuff all over the floor. It's a shapeshifter. It can camouflage. It can turn into a cloud, like, for example. It's a predator. It's a meat eater. And eye contact leads to aggression, a major theme of the film, with spectacle. And it cannot digest non-organic matter. That's why it spits anything out that's not organic. That's how OJ and M's father dies. And I love how it had a very similar death to the shark in Jaws.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's why I've been kind of comparing it a lot to Jaws. I mean, besides the death, I mean, it's obviously like a cat and mouse chase with the alien. They're trying to catch it. They even use like the flags as kind of like a way to see where it's at, kind of like in Jaws where they use the barrels to see where the shark is at. I love the ending. I feel like a lot of people were disappointed with the fact that it was not a flying saucer. And I thought that the twist was great, but I know some people went in hoping to see little green men come out of the saucer.
Times.
But yeah, we have seen that 1,000 times, and I thought that this twist was exactly what I wanted. In that final 10 minutes of them chasing Jean Jacket, and then, you know, between OJ and Emerald, and it's like going back between both of them, and then Emerald, you know, takes off, does the Akira slide on the motorcycle. I was like transcending to the heavens. I was so happy watching that last 10 minutes.
My favorite part about the alien, and it was so smart of Jordan to do this, is he didn't explain anything. He didn't say how the alien got there, what it is, how it flies, why it's there. It's just there. And I prefer it when the mystery's there. We don't need to know what it is, how it got here, where it came from. It's not important. What's important is that there's just a monster wreaking havoc, and that's all we need. I think so many other writers would probably try to figure out, like, someone's gonna figure out what it is and where it came from and to describe everything we need to know about it, and that would take away the mystery and the fear of it. I think not knowing anything about it adds to that horror element to the monster.
Plus the obsession with spectacle, which is probably the main theme of this movie. And again, that's what he was trying to do, is to create a summer spectacle to keep film alive and get people into the theaters. And it's like, who's the bigger villain in the film or antagonist? Is it the alien, the shape-shifting, is it Jean Jacket, or is it mankind and people's obsession with spectacle? The concept of when you look up at the alien, that's when it's going to come and get you. Unfortunately, if you're with people that are looking up, you're dead too. You're done. But it's kind of like the idea where, let's say someone's pointing a gun at you. What are you going to do? You're going to look away. It's like Reservoir Dogs, the torture scene. You're going to be moving your head. You don't want to look at certain death. You don't want to look at the gun. You don't want to look at the person. You're probably going to close your eyes and look away. Whereas the concept, and it's a great like interpretation or assessment of human nature, where they're looking up at certain death. They're looking up at probable death, and that they're obsessed with the spectacle, even though they're probably going to die. They don't know what this is.
The audience is a great example of that.
So people, the concept of people being obsessed with spectacle, no matter if it costs them their lives, is just such an interesting like assessment on human nature. I find it so fascinating.
Yeah, the TMZ guy, he's like, I need my camera. He's about to die. Yeah. And the same thing with the cinematographer, Alton. Like, he has to get that shot. They already got it. The impossible shot, and he sacrificed himself to get it, even though like he eats the camera up too. Also, like, that also relates to Ricky. He's trying to create a spectacle by taking advantage of the alien being there, by making a show out of it. And also it ties to Gordy, the chimpanzee, in that show, creating a spectacle out of an animal. And the horrible disaster that Gordy wreaked, the horrible havoc he wreaked on that set that day. What do you guys think the relationship between Gordy and that flashback has to the movie.
So it's a really interesting way to open the movie up where it's an alien movie you're expecting. You know, you watch the trailer, you see a flying saucer, and it's going to be cool. But he opens it up with, it's not even Gordy yet. The opening shot is the set where after Gordy has wreaked havoc, and it's the shoe that's standing upright.
Yeah.
That is the first shot of the movie, and Peele goes back to it a few times, this memory of Jupe, of Ricky, from being on that set. Now, I think it's obviously all tied together, and the way I look at that shoe, I've been thinking about it ever since, and the main things, the concept of, like, I think a lot of people might think, was the alien there? Did the alien have anything to do with the situation? But it was the balloon that caused the chimpanzee to lose it. But why is the shoe upright? I think it's more of a referral, not to the alien or anything like that, but more to what OJ calls a bad miracle. You know, he's like, what's the word for bad miracle? I love the concept of what is a bad miracle. It's in the trailer and everything too, because we don't really have a word for that, but maybe that's what that exactly is. And the thing with Gordy and Ricky, I think maybe he saw himself as being special because he survived this incident, and then he's probably got trauma that he's just accepting, but he's profiting from it. So maybe he thinks that he was chosen. He didn't die. He's the only person in that studio that didn't get killed by the chimpanzee, by Gordy. So that's why he's okay with trying to profit off this beast, trying to tame this wild predator, and I think they're completely tied together.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think it's tying into just the arrogance of man, right? They think they can tame a chimpanzee. We think we can tame horses. Even the horse, while they are tamed to an extent, are ultimately wild animals. That's why the horse kicks the makeup lady's makeup bag across the set, because it sees its own reflection. It's all about man thinking we can just tame everything. We have the power over everyone. And in reality, when it comes to nature, we can't tame everything. And when our arrogance gets in the way, it leads to consequences. It leads to death in a movie set. It leads to being sucked up by an alien spaceship or an alien. And I think it's a really interesting way to kind of connect everything back to spectacle and our like obsession, even with death itself. Like, Gordy murdered all those people, but yet some Dutch couple came and paid $50K to Jupe to sleep in a room with all the memorabilia, because we're so obsessed with spectacle, whether that be death or a success or accomplishment. It's crazy the way it connects. All of it connects.
Yeah, and also it shows the idea of, you know, human beings trying to control nature and thinking they can control nature, but nature is so much more powerful than human beings. The chimpanzee is an example. Even though they're smaller than us, they are extremely powerful and can just rip us to shreds if they wanted to. But this is an example of, like, they thought they had this chimpanzee perfectly tamed, and then once it's let loose, it just destroys it can just dismember people. It tears that girl's face off. It has so much power. Same thing with the horse. It's so powerful, even though, like you said, it's tamed for the most part. It has that inside of it where it can let loose this power that we cannot handle. And then the alien is another example of just this power. These characters are trying to control it. They're trying to, Ricky's trying to control it for a show, and then the Howards are trying to control it to get a photo of it. And so once again, nature proves that it cannot be fully controlled, and it's way more powerful than any of us.
But there is also a major contrast between OJ and Ricky, where Ricky's trying to just profit from it, trying to control it. He doesn't respect this predator, and he thinks that he has it tamed, just like Gordy was tamed on the set. And if that didn't happen to him as a kid, would he even try to do this? But again, I think he thinks he's special because he survived by some like bad miracle or miracle. Whereas OJ has a lot more respect for animals because he's a horse wrangler. He has a lot more respect for the alien, understanding it more. He's the one who realizes that it's alive. And
I'm sorry. He actually understands animals better than people.
Yeah, so he respects animals. Yeah. So he understands that you can't fully train a horse, even if it seems like it's fully trained. It's still it's still an animal, and we're still being. So I think that's why they're able to come up with that great plan, because OJ really understands animals.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to talk about Hoyt van Hoytema for a little bit.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite cinematographers, and I mentioned earlier he didn't shoot Jordan's other two films, but I think he was a great addition to the crew. I think Jordan, he's a smart guy, he's probably going to have Hoyt for the rest of his movies, because what was most impressive about this film, it was the best day for night I've ever seen in a movie. Mad Max did a terrific job, George Miller, with the day for night sequences there, but what's really special about the day for night sequences in this film was it was perfectly color corrected, and it was perfectly edited to make it look like it was really nighttime, because they shot this on film. Film does not have the dynamic range that digital cameras have, so there's no way they could capture stars in the sky while still photographing and exposing for like people on set at nighttime. It's an impossibility. So they filmed those sequences, these night sequences, most of them day for night, which means they shoot it during the day and then they just edit it for nighttime. But obviously having IMAX film, the higher quality format, you have a lot more information to work with. So that's also allows you to make it look more believable. But I think that the night sequences were really stunning, really beautiful. It was smart, and they did this editing process where shoot day for night. You edit this daytime footage to make it look blue and dark, and then you CGI in lights in the background of the house, of neighboring towns, neighboring homes, to make it look like, oh, those lights are on, that means it's a nighttime sequence. And it was really well photographed, really beautiful, but I think the nighttime sequences were really, I'd never seen nighttime like that in a movie before.
Plus so much practical filmmaking. Yeah. I mean, just that beautiful golden hour sunset of OJ when he's in the barn. It's just he didn't even get the sky. It's just a window of the sky. And it's like, that's real. You know, there's not a green screen. There's no LCD screen behind him. So we love practical filmmaking so much. And I think, talking about earlier with the flying saucer, the alien in the sky, I think Jordan and Hoyt just did a great job, like you said, with the perspective from the ground, but also teasing the alien like in Jaws, but like they showed so much of it after a while. It was all over the screen. I loved it. I wanted to see more of it, and they just figured out the perfect timings with great editing, great cinematography, and great directing to show us the monster, the alien, when we wanted to see it. By the time the third act's rolling, and this is a crazy third act, it is all over the place. We're seeing great footage of it, great looks of it. And it was just so interesting. I think they just did a terrific job teasing it and then revealing it for sure.
I was so curious about like what it looked like from different angles, and I wanted to see like when you got to see how its texture could like ripple and move, and it was very much like billowy, like cloth in a lot of ways. I thought it was really terrific how it could transfigure itself and transform based upon like if it's attacking or if it wants to fly quickly or if it just like wants to blow up into that huge like cloud-like umbrella.
It was like a Moon Knight flying saucer.
Like a cape, almost like a butterfly.
Yeah, it was really stunning, and it just I think that cinematography was some of the best we've seen by far. And then the next great feature of the production was the sound design.
Oh, it's the best.
The sound
part.
design was really remarkable. We were actually talking before we recorded how important sound is to a movie. It can really honestly make or break a film sometimes, and I think the sound design of the alien was really phenomenal because the first half of the film, you hear the screeching and you're like, it sounds like maybe that's like the engine of this UFO. Is that what's making that sound? But then when you see those people being sucked up and screaming, and then we cut away too far away, and the echoing, the distant cries of the people, we realize that's what we've been hearing all this time, is just the screams of people. And I found that absolutely horrifying for the second half of the film. After you know what the ship is and how it eats people, whenever I heard that screeching, I'm like, oh my God, it's people screaming for their lives. It was horrifying.
I think that's why I recommend this watch in IMAX for a lot of different reasons.
Oh, yeah.
Watching in IMAX, not for visuals only, but for the sound itself, is paramount in compared to, a regular screening, because the sounds are so important to really instilling that fear. When the TMZ guy gets eaten, I was at a screening last night and the sound was really great, and I didn't notice it before, but just his screams alone after it eats him is terrifying.
Yeah.
And it's such a really interesting way to kind of characterize the alien, whether the alien's using it as a fear mechanism to like get its prey afraid of it, or if it's trying to draw people in or scare people away. It's a interesting way to characterize the alien.
In terms of the sound, I think it might be relating to the alien trying to draw people towards it, because like the mechanics inside the alien, it seems to really reverberate the sound and project it. And it could be a way, because when you hear the sound, you're like, what is that sound? And so if I was there in person, I'd be like, what is that
Spectacle.
sound? So before you can even see the alien, you're looking for it. So I think the sound is definitely a way of drawing people in. It's like Annihilation, when that giant moose monster uses the voice of the girl's friend that it recently ate to draw people close to it. I think it was similar in regards to that.
And we did an awesome Patreon screening with our Discord patrons for the
Raiders
IMAX
team
for Nope. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Who was it that said? Was it Andy? I can't remember. Sorry if I forget who said this, but they said that it reminded them of the ghosts from Mario in Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Oh,
When
interesting.
the ghost, when you look at it, it doesn't come. I mean, well, except the opposite. So when you're looking away from it, it comes after you. But when you look at it itself, so it's the exact opposite. Where it seems to it will only attack you when it's looking at you. That's clearly shown, obviously, throughout the entire film. But the final scene where it's between, in the third act, where M and OJ on our either side of it trying to draw its attention. And so like one of them is looking at it, the other one's looking at it. They're trying to save the other person by looking at it and drawing its attention. So it's really interesting that it will really only attack you when you're looking at it.
It's the attention. It's the theme of spectacle, of something to be like awed at.
I think that you made the connection earlier, and I like the idea that it's an animal, essentially an animal, an apex predator, Because you guys went to the San Diego Zoo recently.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think it's at the Wild Animal Park, not the zoo. But when you go to the Wild Animal Park at San Diego, you drive by, you get in like a little cart, and they take you through the Wild Animal Park, and you pass by the gorilla. And it says, do not look the gorilla in the eyes, because the gorilla will take it as an act of aggression and will act out.
Yeah.
So I think in many ways, looking the animal in the eyes is a sign of aggression for them to attack. The horse sees its own reflection in that little camera thing that makes it act out. There's a theory, and I don't know how accurate this is, that Gordy acts out not because of the popping, but because the balloons are reflective. And so it may have saw its reflection as the balloons were going up.
As an enemy chimp.
I saw it as an enemy chimp.
Yes, because the horse is the same thing.
Exactly. The horse, same thing. And so that's what it ultimately comes down to is the reflections are causing these animals to attack.
That's actually a great point. And the gorilla thing, actually, it's funny. I just watched this video the other day about gorillas. And so this team of researchers, they made a little robot gorilla and they put it in a family of gorillas in a forest. And then
Did it look good?
It looked good. It looked good. It
like
looked
a
I
bionic
don't, I don't want to see like metal. Like
No. It had fur and everything to face. Like they had real prosthetics on to make it look like a little chimp, like a little gorilla like this big, an ape. And they put it in this area where the gorillas lived, and the gorillas all swarmed around it. They're like, "What is this thing?" And then the alpha gorilla goes up to it, and then the narrator's explaining what's going on. The alpha gorilla stares at this little robot gorilla, and the entire community is waiting to see the alpha's reaction, if they're going to kill this thing or if they're going to let it stay there. And so the researchers knew exactly what they were doing. So then when the little gorilla is making contact with the alpha, the guy controlling it turned the head of the little mini gorilla, which is a sign of respect. Leaving eye contact with the alpha and looking away shows your respect for the alpha. And then the alpha approved, and they all just like sat down around the little robot gorilla.
Wow.
So the eye contact is an act of aggression for a lot of animals.
it's really interesting.
Yeah.
So it seems like the alien knows that it wants people to look at it so that it attacks them.
Yeah. Or I mean, you could just
Maybe it doesn't want. Maybe it's not doing that on purpose. Maybe it's just reacting.
Yeah, I think there's always an assumption that because it's extraterrestrial, it's intelligent or it's like more or smarter than people. But there could just be it's extraterrestrial, but ultimately it's also still just an animal.
Yeah.
So
Although, is it extraterrestrial? What if it was what if it's always been on Earth, or it's been here
possible.
longer than us?
Yeah.
We could be extraterrestrials. We don't officially know that. I love how they make fun of the ancient aliens in the movies.
Yeah.
It's so
You
fun.
had an ancient alien's face.
It was fun to watch. I didn't believe in it.
It's theirs because he got into it with his college buddies, his old roommates.
I was drinking a lot of natty
and then
ices.
he would come home and he'd be like, "Dude, you're gonna watch like the ancient pyramids were like engines for aliens."
I didn't believe it. I
You're
didn't
gonna see
believe
this
it.
stuff.
I thought it was fascinating. I don't
What the-
believe that
I'd be
alien.
like-
I do not believe that the pyramids are
You
ships.
seem pretty convinced.
yeah,
back
like you're a
then.
little self-defensive
Yeah,
right now.
You seem pretty convinced back then.
because people think it's serious.
yeah, I'm not saying now you do that, but back then you were like, "Oh my god, you gotta look at
I
this."
was 19 having a good time. But it's fun because Ancient Aliens is entertaining as hell. If you ever seen that show, they poke fun at it so well. But like, what if the thing was longer? Has always been here. What if it's been here longer?
Yeah.
I mean, there's obviously so many.
There'd be a lot of dead
cultures-
people.
So many past cultures have just like drawings of things in the sky that they don't know what it was. So
It's like Godzilla. I mean, and all Godzilla, they're already here.
Yeah.
We're just
Underground,
on their turf.
what if it's always been there? What if it's always been in the sky and it
good
only
point.
hunts like a certain amount of people at a time?
We'll
Did
find out in Nope Part 2.
Yes. Nope. Origins. Origins.
Where did the alien come from?
For me, the alien a lot of times it reminded me of like a stingray flowing through the water. Because once you saw that you at first you think it's made of metal, but then when you see like you get closer shots of its skin, you can see it's like got this like texture to it that's definitely not like solid. I was like, oh, it feels like a stingray. It's light on top and then like a dark silver on the bottom. It felt like it was like a floating and hovering across the earth. Maybe it uses the atmosphere like a fish would use the water the way it flies. I thought it was really ingenious. He probably used animals as inspiration for designing the creature.
And it's so relevant and inspiration from the real UFO footage that's been getting leaked by the Pentagon.
I love how they brought that up.
They brought that up,
It's so
too.
funny with the Fries guy. Unfortunately, Fries went out of business, everybody, before this movie came
Is
out.
it out of business now?
Yeah, they went out of business.
Wow.
I'm not sure if the whole nation, but in California, I'm pretty sure they're all gone.
wow.
Which is unfortunate because it used to be a great superstore for electronics.
been, so it's not unfortunate for me.
camera gear and
Cool.
stuff like that is awesome. I love Fries, and there's another one called Sammy's in LA. But
Sammy's is great.
that footage is obviously like I've watched so many podcasts on that and like listened to people from the Pentagon on podcasts or like people that are pilots that have seen it and got footage of it, recordings. And Jordan obviously based the design off those little flying saucers that move like impossibly fast, impossibly agile, and lightweight, up, down, left, right, whatever. So fast, and the bringing it up is so fun. It's so relevant culturally because people are so obsessed with UFOs. And I love how Angel, the character from Fries, I don't know if he named him Angel because maybe he's a guardian angel to help them. I don't know.
Probably.
Might be reading too much into
it.
it.
No, I think that's right. Yeah.
But he was obsessed with it as well. So everyone has a fascination with aliens for sure. But the recent footage being released, now even more people have an interest with it, especially with pop culture and social media right now. And I love how they brought up how the name got changed from UFO to UAPs, which is a unidentified aerial phenomenon.
And they were like, nobody
object.
gives a shit because they don't even know what that means.
So it's really interesting to
It's
bring
funny
up.
how that footage came out. It was like people talked about it for a day, but then it was just like,
It's still there, man. It's still there.
Yeah, but it wasn't like I thought it was going to become a cultural phenomenon.
It was, but
Not really.
that was like 3 years ago. But I mean, you can't talk about it every day. People got jobs, man.
I guess.
And there's only one. There's like 2 clips. That's it.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 best
that
clips
we know of.
Yeah, that we've captured.
But I love how like the main plot of the film is like trying to get that Oprah shot to try to save the ranch and try to.
It ain't no Oprah
get
shot.
the spectacle. But how about we take our break and head into intermission, guys?
do it.
Then we'll continue our discussion on Nope. Raiders of the Lost podcast is brought to you by our good friends at Manscaped.com, the leaders in men's grooming, who are turning your shower routine into your favorite part of the day with their ultra premium collection. It includes deodorant, body wash, 2-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, hydrating body spray, and a free set of Manscaped lip balm. Use our coupon code Raiders of the Lost at checkout for 20% off and free shipping worldwide. I also recommend getting their new Boxers 2.0, the most comfortable briefs we've ever put on. Anthony, we got a couple pairs each. Tell me how comfy they are.
They're super soft.
I wore them at Comic-Con because I knew he was going to be walking a lot. I wanted to be comfy down there. They got a little extra space for your junk as well. So get to manscaped.com, get the Boxer Briefs 2.0, and also the Platinum 4.0 collection is their best deal yet, as well as all the stuff from the Ultra Premium collection. It includes the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, which is a rocket ship or a UFO, a UAP for your grooming needs. You use in the shower. It's waterproof, has a built-in light, skin-safe 7,000 RPM motor, wireless charger. Get on manscaped.com right now. Use our coupon code Raiders of the Lost at checkout. You'll get 20% off and free shipping worldwide.
Our other amazing sponsor is movieposters.com. You know them. Use our special promo code Raiders10 at their website and get 10% off your order today. They have a gigantic selection of pretty much every movie and TV show imaginable in their poster arsenal. They also can do all sorts of sizes, framing, and backlighting for your poster needs. They got you covered. Again, head on over to movieposters.com and use our promo code Raiders10 to get 10% off your order today.
All right, let's begin our intermission, gentlemen.
All right.
We will begin with the movie quotes competition.
Let's hear it.
Y'all ready? Somebody in this camp ain't what he appears to be. Right now, that may be 1 or 2 of us. By spring, it could be all of us.
I'm pretty sure right now.
I'm going. Right. You want to go for guess first?
Guess first.
Is it Hateful Eight?
No.
The Thing.
The Thing. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Kurt Russell said both. Yeah, he
McGrady said it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's in both.
McGrady
yeah.
said it. Yeah.
Okay. Whose turn is it now?
You can go.
Yeah.
Mine?
Go for it. Let's hear it.
If we're kind and polite, the world will be right.
We're kind.
I think I have a good guess.
You guess first.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
No.
That's what I was gonna
It
guess.
sounded like a line you would say.
Charlie the Chocolate Factory.
Is that your real guess?
Yeah.
It is no. It's actually from the greatest movie of all time, guys. It is from Paddington 2.
I love Paddington 2.
Paddington 2.
I gave it a 10 out of 10.
Did you
Well,
see the
yeah.
Nick Cage movie, the new one?
I did.
That
I did.
Paddington 2 joke was so good. There's a recurring joke.
Dude, I couldn't believe how good that movie was.
It's really good. People always question me on social
Yeah.
media, like, "Are you joking, Joe?" I'm
Dude.
like, I'm not joking.
I got so
promise.
many recommendations, and then that 100% on Rotten Tomatoes or something. I was like, I gotta check this out. And I was like, this movie is amazing. It was amazing.
is
So
very
good. Okay, here's my
Best sequel
quote.
of all time.
Best sequel of all time.
Better than Godfather Part 2.
It's,
yeah.
Godfather is like Sesame Street compared to it.
What about Top Gun Maverick?
What, Top Gun who? Top Gun,
That's
Top
a
Gun
top 5
Paddington.
sequel for me right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's up
Oh,
there.
yeah,
Paddington
absolutely.
could fly a jet. I don't know if Tom
Yeah.
Cruise could be Paddington. though.
Paddington's got it all, man. All right, here's my quote. If you want to be president, you can start a war, you can lie, you can cheat, you can bankrupt the country, but you can't F the interns. They'll get you for that.
Oh, man. This sounds so familiar.
It does sound very
Want me to say it
familiar.
again?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say the F words. This is a clean show, but that's what he really says it. If you want to be president, you can start a war, you can lie, you can cheat, you can bankrupt the country, but you cannot F the interns. They'll get you for that.
I have a guess, but I feel like it's something more recent. I'm gonna guess Vice.
Incorrect.
Yeah. Something newer. I feel like.
It feels something really new.
Yeah. Huh. That's a really good quote.
Is it Don't Look Up?
Incorrect.
Oh, it's something that came out like the last 2 years, I feel like.
No, it's not.
Oh,
It's something that came out the last 3 years, I feel like.
It's not that
Something that
new.
came out the last 4 years.
enough. I'm just gonna tell you.
What?
The Ides of March.
Oh!
Ryan Gosling says it's a George Clooney.
Yeah, that's such an underrated movie.
Great.
It's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
Yeah.
Great political movie.
Yeah, that's good.
Who made that? That's
George made it.
Oh yeah, George made it, and Philip Seymour Hoffman's in it as well.
That's correct.
Awesome cast. That movie I saw, I'm like, wow, Ryan Gosling's a really good actor.
Yeah.
All right, let's do the movie release.
You
here,
didn't get
guys.
that from The Notebook? No, but he's in a great he plays a coke addict in
Half Nelson.
Half Nelson.
Yeah, Half
Oscar
Nelson's
nominated
great.
for that. Yeah, that was the first time I was like, whoa, that guy can act his ass off.
Nelson's good.
All right, gentlemen, guess this movie release year. Assault on Precinct 13, the original.
Oh. I'm gonna go with 1978.
Joe?
I will say 1974.
1976.
Oh, right in the middle.
Canadian.
Right in the middle.
Dang.
It's a good movie.
Okay. How about this one? Tron, the original Tron.
Oh,
Man, I'm going to say, quick guess, 1982.
I'm going 1981.
It's 82.
Oh, let's go.
Nice job.
Nice.
Nice job.
Just going to go with your gut.
you
How
go.
do you know?
Gut.
Nope reference.
No, Revengeance.
Oh, it's Vengeance.
Yeah,
You're right. Never mind. I
Vengeance.
saw both in the last 24
See, you did
hours,
like the
40
movie.
hours.
You like
I
it more
like.
than you
There was a
live on.
lot of really good jokes
Yeah.
in Vengeance.
Okay, here's my movie release here: The Manchurian Candidate, the remake, Jonathan Demme's movie.
My guess is going to be 2006.
I was thinking 2004.
2004.
There we go.
And if you, for extra credit, who starred in the original? Do you know?
No.
Clint Eastwood. No.
New York, New York.
Oh, Frank.
Frank starred in the original.
Okay.
All right, what's your John Carpenter quiz question?
You're right. John Carpenter is my theme right now. Movie pop quiz time. How many John Carpenter movies is Kurt Russell in? And can you name them for bonus points,
Okay, hold on.
which will be applied to nothing? I do not have a gift shop or anything.
I'm gonna go with. I actually think it's less than I thought it was. Yeah, I'm gonna go with 3.
Oh,
Okay.
that's not right. I don't think that's right. At least
What do you think?
it's at least 4, but I'll guess 4.
Okay. Can you guys name them?
So obviously, The Thing, Escape from New York, Big Trouble in Little China.
Did he do Escape from LA?
Yes.
Oh, Escape from L.A.
So that's
That's
4.
4.
But the answer is 5.
what's the
John Carpenter directed Elvis.
Oh, that was their first movie together.
Number
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
knew I should have guessed one more than 5.
What was that? What was that? 78?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's a long time ago.
I didn't know he directed that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Fun fact. So 5
He must have
movies.
discovered Kurt Russell.
Probably. I
Yeah.
mean, he put him in a lot of his early movies. I mean, they built a huge catalog of great films in the 80s. And, I mean, The Thing, I think, is the best one they did, for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's
love
one of the
that
best movies ever. Okay.
Damn.
Quiz question.
Do you want a trick quiz question or just a straightforward quiz question?
How about both
Let's
of
do
them?
both. Start with the trick.
Well, it's the same question, but I can skew it to be kind of.
Make it a trick
Make it a
question.
trick question.
Next
Let's-
time, don't warn us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Okay.
I
us
love
on-
giving him trick
Keep
questions.
us on our toes.
How many Studio Ghibli films did Miyazaki direct?
All of them.
All of them.
That is incorrect. There's 23. I'll give you that. There's 23. Japan-based ones, if you don't count collabs.
How is it a trick question though? That's why I said all of them. Because if it's a trick question,
Is it going to be none
None
of
of
them?
them.
No.
I'll tell you this trick question in a
He
second.
directed Spirited Away. I'm going to say 6.
I'm gonna say 0.
All right. Well, here's the trick question. So technically, there's 13 Miyazaki films. 10 of them were directed by Hayao Miyazaki. 3 of them directed by his son Goro Miyazaki.
Oh, man.
Oh, I like
All right,
it.
so he
Yeah.
did 10, basically.
Yeah.
So Hayao did 10.
That's
He's
the
the more
trick
famous
question.
Miyazaki, but his son has done 3.
That's a good question.
Good
Three
que- great
okay
question.
ones.
Great question. Trixie.
Clearly, our anime just got put on
They're Trixie. Okay, here's my quiz.
blast.
They know we're not. They know we're not super familiar with anime. We just know like basic.
Working on it. Working on it.
We're getting there.
It's a good one.
We watched a lot of Dragon Ball Z when we were kids.
Yeah.
There you go.
And Pokemon.
And Pokemon.
Okay.
And Yu-Gi-Oh.
Fuck Yu-Gi-Oh.
I watched it too. We're all the same age. I watched a ton of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Digimon.
Yeah.
All right. What is the name of Jeffrey Wright's character in the Bond franchise?
Oh my God.
No idea.
I went all Jeffrey Wright
Hold
questions
on.
today.
Hold on. Holy crap.
You don't have to give me his last name, just his first name.
Wright. Come on, James.
Come on, James.
Come on, James.
One last time.
F is his name. He's all over.
You're
the new
gonna
one, too.
hate yourself when I say it.
It's like-
it's gonna kill you.
Jeffrey Bright.
That's right.
I can't remember anyone's name except for James Bond in that movie right
Could
now.
be like,
You can't remember Vesper?
Vesper. I'm just kidding. No, I'm that movie.
Oh,
is it like James or something?
It's not James.
Is it-
It's not James.
Anthony?
Oh my
not
God. I
Anthony.
can't remember.
Give me a guess. Give me a guess, guys. Should have guessed.
Sean.
No.
Richard.
Felix.
Felix.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I feel like
Felix.
such an
Felix.
idiot right now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really pay attention to him too that much. I mean,
Yeah.
he's in them,
He
but
He doesn't have that much screen time.
He's in a ton of No Time to Die, though.
Yeah. Yeah, they brought him out for
So I
that
had
one.
a brother. His name was Felix.
Felix.
Bitch.
Wow, I thought
Damn,
this was a clean
missed out
show.
on
Not anymore.
Jeez.
Not anymore.
Anthony brings it out in the intermission.
I love Jeffrey Wright.
All right, we got haters.
We have a lot of
unsubscribes.
unsubscribes. It's a great man. Oh, I can't wait to read this. Okay, ready? So if you're not familiar, our unsubscribes is our fans make ridiculous hate comments and they write unsubscribe in the comment.
But it was created from
Yeah.
all the hate mail we would get, and we would just create. Anthony created where he's like, that person unsubscribed. So now
I unsubscribe.
it's the slogan of the show, but
Yeah.
people say it, but it's a supportive thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now it's great. Okay, so Mean Machine 96 wrote in our Comic-Con video, Comic-Con mid unsubscribed, not impressed. Evan Tomke in our book to film adaptations, no Captain Underpants, the first epic movie, unsubscribed. Shaq of the Endre in the episode as well. Didn't include any of the Dr. Seuss book to film adaptations. Unsubscribed. We should have put the Grinch in there. They're
You're
right.
We should have.
And then also Quinn87. No Magic School Bus. Unsubscribed.
I guess, yeah.
Is there a Magic School Bus movie?
I'm not sure if
I
they were
think when we were
movies.
kids, there's a movie that
I
like
think they were just like little 20-minute shorts.
pretty sure there was a Magic School Bus movie that we watched in class.
Yeah, I don't know. And then Greek and Tex and Mike was having a nice nap listening to this, absorbing info subconsciously, and then James starts yelling about the Da Vinci Code and something about his chin and woke me up. Unsubscribed.
Love you, Mike. I have strong feelings against those movies because I love the books.
I like the movies.
Yeah, I like the
Did you read
movies,
the
too.
books though?
No.
So then when you read the books, they just get everything wrong.
The
Yeah,
first movie's fine.
They're
I think it's-
entertaining.
I
They're
think it's- I
entertaining.
think
I just
it's
gotta let
fun.
it go, man.
Yeah,
you gotta
man,
let it go.
you're just taking it. I mean, it's just fucking the Da Vinci Code.
Dropping so many F-bombs. Relax,
I want to
bro.
make your editing as hard as possible.
My goodness. He's like, yeah, it's a clean show. 3 F-bombs and a B word in a minute.
I'm glad I didn't break the rule.
And then Chad Manuel, he recommended actually the 97 Kurt Russell Elvis movie. And he said, I was like, cool, awesome. I'm going to add it to my list. And then he wrote, if you don't watch it, I'll unsubscribe.
Very good.
We have a great supporter 5-star review from Stuffed Crust. Now, this is podcasting.
I
Sounds
love the username.
Stuffed Crust. I stumbled across this podcast during the pandemic and haven't stopped listening since. James and Anthony always deliver on the content, and their thoughts and perspectives of film is truly refreshing. While tuning in, I find myself laughing out loud, gaining new insights, and adding movies to my watch list. Heck yeah. I cannot thank these two enough for making commutes and mundane tasks more enjoyable. As someone who has always been excited about films and filmmaking, there isn't another podcast I choose over this one. Sorry, Joe.
That's okay.
Don't expect I'll be unsubscribed anytime soon. Very appreciative of these two for turning their passion to something they so accessible for all of us to enjoy. Thanks, Stuffed
Thanks,
Crust.
pal.
I love
Appreciate it.
Stuffed Crust
Yeah,
too.
that was the best.
Yeah, good time.
We have a Godfather shout out today.
Who is it?
Mauricio Rodriguez.
Maurizio!
Wow.
an offer you couldn't refuse. Thanks, on the day of our Nope episode, you became a patron.
You became a Godfather patron. It helps support the show and lets us do this full time. So we appreciate you, Mauricio, and we appreciate all of our other Godfather patrons.
Hope to see you on the Discord soon.
Yeah. So he actually chose a great film, Luca, for his bonus
Love
review.
Luca.
Oh, Luca's
So
good.
we love Italy. You know we love Italy, so I can't wait to review that for you.
That movie makes me so hungry because of all the spaghetti eating. All right, and now let's get into On This Day in Film History. Today's date is August 1st. In 1927, the earliest date for a film to be considered for the Academy Awards happened today. In 1981, MTV premiered at 12:01 a.m.
Wow.
You guys remember MTV waking up before school and watching music videos?
Yeah.
I remember it.
That's how I discovered My Chemical Romance.
Heck yeah.
Oh yeah. Top 10. You would wait for like your favorite song. Come on, make it to number 1. Damn it, Green Day got number 2. This is BS.
Then you're watching like Nelly music videos before going to school in like 3rd grade. In 1996, George R.R. Martin published the epic fantasy novel A Game of Thrones, the first in his series, A Song of Fire and Ice.
What year was it?
1996.
96. Wow.
Pretty old.
Still not done.
Yeah. It's never going to finish. How's it coming, George? How's Winds of Winter's coming?
I'm busy with the House of Dragon.
Winds of what? Oh, no. I'll get to it.
Yeah, it's in the back. Yeah, I'll get it finished. In 1997, the classic film, all-time great, Air Bud is released.
Nice. Oh, yeah.
2008, The Mummy, The Tomb of the Dragon Emperor is released.
Wow.
In 2014, Guardians of the Galaxy and Get On Up are released. And happy birthday to Sam Mendes and Jason Momoa.
Wait, those 3 films came out in the same day? Get Out.
Guardians of the Galaxy and Get On Up.
Get On Up.
Get On Up, not Get Out.
Oh, I thought you said Get Out and Up. I was like, man, that's a lot of movies to come out in one day.
Nah, bro.
Nah, son.
My stream recommendation is a new film that just got added to Netflix. Constantine just got put on there today on August 1st.
Oh,
John Constantine. My recommendation is High and Low on HBO Max. Akira Kurosawa directed this amazing Japanese film. It's about a mistaken kidnapping, and it's really terrific. Highly recommend.
I'm choosing a Netflix original. I'm choosing The Sea Beast, which came out this year.
Oh, I heard good things about it.
Sea Beast is great.
Yeah.
I love it. I love animated film in general, and The Sea Beast was fantastic. So I recommend that to everybody.
Yeah, someone recommended it. I watched the trailer. I was like, that looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's
the animation looks interesting too.
a little derivative of some stories we've seen before, but
Yeah.
it's still really good.
Nice.
I like it a lot.
All right, let's get back into our discussion on Nope, everybody. Now, it's a Jordan Peele film, and so every one of his films obviously has elements of social justice and social injustice in his films as well. And I think, obviously, what he's alluding to with this movie, and he was inspired by the black jockey in the original motion picture film. So that's heavily featured in this film. You can even see it in one of those opening shots of the alien going through the digestive tract, which is really interesting, a really great shot, which leads into the film screen projection of the film, which is actually called The Horse in Motion, which is a series of cabinet cards, which was filmed by Edward Muybridge in June in 1878, included 6 cards that each show a sequential series of 6 to 12 automatic electro photographs depicting the movement of a horse. This groundbreaking motion photography was accomplished using multiple cameras and assembling the individual pictures into a single motion picture. The movie was made to scientifically answer a popular debated question during this era. Are all 4 of a horse's hooves ever off the ground at the same time while the horse is galloping? This video proved that they indeed were, and more importantly, motion photography was born. If you take an intro to film class, you will probably learn about this in the first week as the first ever motion picture captured.
What's funny about it is it's basically bullet time.
Basically,
Yeah, from the Matrix.
Yeah,
it's bullet time.
There's just like
a line of cameras
and cameras that the horse set them off.
Yeah.
Now, I think that obviously this film, in using this as a symbol, Jordan's trying to show historical erasure, racism in the film industry. Obviously, OJ's father in the film broke barriers and boundaries by becoming the only horse rancher and wrangler in Hollywood, but you can only imagine what he had to do to create his legacy, which OJ is trying to steadhandedly preserve and constantly keep the ranch open and alive. So he's trying to keep the tradition and the legacy, everything his father built, alive.
Yeah, and also the erasure of the black cowboy from cinema in the Western and golden ages of cinema, saying
the black jockey as well.
Yeah, if you look at like Westerns, like you never see any black cowboys. I mean, one of my favorite movies is like the Westerns of like the recent memory was The Magnificent Seven, seeing Denzel riding that horse. Dressed all in black, like he's the hero. Like that's something that we very rarely see in the history of cinema.
Sidney Poitier's in a few as well. But as Peele tells us in Nope, this first motion picture featured the first ever technical movie star. No one knows his name at all. During a pitch to a crew in the film, Em reveals she and her brother are descendants of one Alastair E. Haywood, the black jockey who appears in what Emerald calls the very first movie. Now, according to Jordan Peele, in an interview with GQ. He said, "We've got the first movie star of all time, and it's a black man we don't know. We haven't looked. In a lot of ways, the movie became a response to that first film. And according to derbymuseum.org, black jockeys and horsemen dominated the sport of thoroughbred racing from the first Kentucky Derby in 1875 through 1903, right before the Jim Crow era pushed them out." So I think that obviously using the ranch, using the Haywoods, Jordan Peele's trying to make that connection in a symbology with that family and with their ranchers and with being the only black ranching family in Hollywood.
And the cast was really excellent. You know, Daniel Kaluuya, Oscar winner now, one of the best actors of his generation. He's an excellent actor. And then Keke Palmer just steals every scene she's in. She's so charismatic. She's so talented. I mean, she's amazing. And she had an infectious personality on screen. And it's a great dynamic between them. They're very different people, even though they're siblings and grew up in the same household. Jordan Peele wisely wrote, like, it's funny, like, characters can sometimes have the same voice, and you could see someone acting like that, even though it's a different character. But, like, these characters are so different from one another. They're really well written, really well fleshed out by the actors, who did an amazing job performing. Excellent supporting cast too, Stephen Yeun, and then the rest of the cast. I think that the cinematographer, Alton, I think he might have been inspired by Hoyt van Hoytema. He dresses the same way Hoyt dresses.
Oh, really?
If you look at set photos of Hoyt van Hoytema, he's always wearing black and like those loose scarves and stuff. I was like,
like a poncho looking
yeah,
thing?
so I think he might have used him as inspiration when he wrote that character. But the cast was excellent, really made the film.
Yeah, and I really like Angel as well, the guy who works at Fry's. But yeah, OJ and Keke, they're so opposite where, like we said earlier, OJ's trying to preserve the legacy that his father created. And Keke and then M just kind of just wants to be out of there.
This is her side thing.
This is my side hustle. I'm doing something else. She's promoting herself during the safety speech at the commercial shoot. And they see things differently, but it's not until, the alien's there where they can save the ranch because they're running out of money. They're losing work. They're having to sell off their horses. If they can get the Oprah shot, they can save the ranch, and she wants to, and then she's like probably part of the family business now, where she's really committed to saving it and really committed to capturing a photo and images of the alien.
Yeah. You know what makes Kaluuya a really great actor though is he reminds me of an actor like De Niro and an actor like Ryan Gosling because they really understand true behavior, especially when eliciting fear. Because so many actors, when they're supposed to be acting afraid, they'll be like, it'll be on their face like, oh, I'm horrified, and it'll just be really showing. But in real life, if you're in your situation where you're terrified, what's your face like? You're frozen. You're like you don't even want to move, and like your face isn't like mouth agape and eyes wide open. If you're really afraid in a situation, your face is dead silent and dead frozen because you're just like trying to analyze the situation.
Like in the truck.
Yeah. So exactly, that's an example.
He's like, nope.
Kaluuya, his face remains straight for most of these moments of fear. He's looking around, but he's not like, he doesn't like look terrified because he knows that real behavior, you internalize that fear and you're not really showing it. And especially if you're around other people, you don't want to show that you're afraid. We often hide the emotions on our faces that we're feeling inside. And so I think Kaluuya really understands that. Actors like Gosling's very good at it as well. And De Niro, I think, is the best at it, of really showing behavior subtly with minimalism.
That's one of my favorite parts about this movie is that everybody's reactions to everything seems so genuine.
Yeah.
As, no one's acting too macho where they want to go fight the alien head on or take on something by themselves. Everybody's reaction, while funny because we're watching it, he says nope when he opens the door and he goes back into his truck.
Nope.
When he sees the alien kids for the first time, like he like backs up and he's like, nope. He like starts walking away and then one scares him, so he punches it in the face. All of these reactions, all of Keke Palmer's reactions, Emerald's reactions, the Fry's guy's reactions, everything is so real, and that's why I like it. It doesn't feel like someone's trying to be a hero, and it's like because if that happens, it almost feels unbelievable at that point.
Yeah, they're not overacting.
Correct.
Which is super easy and happens a lot. You know what I mean? Especially when people are afraid. It's tough.
I like the cinematographer's character a lot. So it's Antlers Holst.
Antlers, not all.
And so he seems to have just like lost interest in everything. And he has that great line where on the phone he's talking to M. He's like, you want to reach the mountain, but like once you get there, like there's nothing there. It's like you're emptiness. So like he's reached the pinnacle of his career. He's
That's a good impression.
This dream you're chasing where you end up at the top of the mountain is the one you never wake up from.
Yeah, so he's probably won an Oscar or something like that. He's probably a very accomplished cinematographer. We can assume very wealthy, but what he does in his free time, he's not even working on the commercials or anything. He just seems to just be editing like old film footage that he took of predators.
Yeah,
and he's trying to
find the eyes of predators.
Yeah, and he's trying to find like that money shot. He's like a hunter in a way, trying to find the perfect prey and the ultimate prey. It's like the greatest. I mean, what's it called? The
Apex Predator.
The story
Greatest Game?
The Greatest Game,
Yeah.
kind of, but with filmography instead, with cinematography, which is really interesting, trying to find the perfect shot, the ultimate prey to capture on film, on camera. And I love the concept of where the alien destroys any electrical fields or shut down electricity. He's got like
What did I tell? I told you he would show up with a non-electrical camera. Oh my god, I died
myself. And I love he's using an IMAX camera.
IMAX.
I know everyone makes fun of us for always promoting IMAX because we love it so much. But guess what? So doesn't Jordan Peele. He put it in the goddamn movie.
Yeah, we were with our fans and we all were like giggling about the IMAX camera. It was great.
So I love the concept of that, and even him, the spectacle, the obsession with spectacle of finding the impossible shot. He sacrifices himself to get the footage inside the freaking being.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's really terrific, and well, because the characters are the side characters are really well fleshed out for him. Like he finds meaning in capturing images. Like that's why he died, because he was like, I've lived my entire life, I've captured everything, but this is worth dying for. And also Ricky, he's really well fleshed out. It's this character who he's so informed by that traumatic past, and he likes to brag about the Gordy sequence to people. Like when once Emerald mentions the Gordy show, he's like, oh, let me show you my room. And he's like, once she mentioned that, he stopped his meeting with OJ and he shows this huge room of all the knickknacks he got from that set, and even the bloody shoe. And it's like a shrine he has to this. And the character is really well fleshed out. That entire sequence, that traumatic past, informs him trying to make a show out of the alien. You know, it's very similar where he's using an animal or predator in the TV show. They're using that as a form of entertainment. And he's doing the same thing with this alien, using it as a form of entertainment, wants to create the greatest show anyone's ever seen. He seems to be obsessed with entertaining people. He's bragging about how popular the show was, the streaming numbers, it took off. And then he wants the same thing to happen in that first sequence, that first show. That would have kicked off what it would eventually be maybe his next career as a huge major entertainer. But obviously that ended in a horrible situation for everyone there. I think it was a really fleshed out character. For someone who has a minimum amount of screen time, Ricky was really well made.
You can say he's the most complex character in the entire movie, because what's really interesting, you brought up how they're in the office and he likes to brag about the Gordy experience. When he talks about what happened, he brings up the SNL sketch.
Yeah.
And the Chris Kattan is like, Chris Kattan
it's
is just
Chris Kattan
failing it. So instead of telling what actually happened in person, when we get the memories of him being a terrified child under the table hiding, he talks about the SNL sketch, which was probably funny and humorous, whereas he's just deep down is just hiding it and keeping it to himself. But he's also like strangely stoic about it, because when he's looking back on the memory, I think it's the third time, the final, when all the pieces are put together as the final memory that we get to see, he's just like sitting on his desk, just like, he's not smiling, but he's got like a smirk kind of on his face, like he's reminiscing.
He looks back on it like kindly.
Kind of. It's pretty odd, but as a child, he's completely terrified. But again, I think it's because he thinks in my opinion, Ricky thinks he was chosen maybe because everyone else was killed. And he even saw the shoe. He looked at the shoe. That kind of put him into perspective of what's going on right now. Like what's happening. That shoe is like that, and this chimpanzee's going crazy, killing everybody.
Oh, speaking of the chimp, sorry. So the chimp actually, when he calms down, when he approaches little Ricky, he actually signs to Ricky, "What happened, family?"
And he's going to give him the fist bump.
Yeah, and he does the fist bump.
In the trailer, I was assuming that the fist bump was from an alien or something.
Yeah, so I thought that it was like an alien hand reaching in to like connect with a human being, but it ended up being the chimpanzee.
That was great editing for the trailer, because that really marketed as like we're going to see like aliens walking around, but then he opens up the movie with a monkey and a chimpanzee, and even someone in the theater was like, is this part of the movie?
A lot of people were wondering that because it seems so far-fetched to be in an alien movie.
It's not what you expected to see at all.
Yeah. But it connects to everything. It's the meaning of it, everything in the movie.
Yeah.
It's connected to Ricky and Jupe, and also connected to OJ and the taming, the attempted taming of this predator in the sky. It's really fascinating.
Yeah. And I like how they didn't the Haywards think that they discovered this thing, but Ricky's been feeding it for who knows how long, and now we know why.
6 months. 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months, and now we know why he's buying all these horses and trying to probably get every horse he can get in the area.
And then when you see he's at the presentation, he's like, 6 months ago, I saw a flying saucer, and he's got this flying saucer on the back of his jacket. And you're like, oh, it's an alien. Let's go.
Yeah.
He even says, I was chosen. And that's why, that's why we're all safe. I feel like I was chosen by them. So he definitely always feels like he's chosen by the predators, whether that be Gordy or Jean Jacket.
Yeah.
So.
I love when he's about to show the alien, but he's like, first my kids want to do a number.
Remember their names. They're going to be famous.
Yeah.
So I love that concept. And then Also, just so we don't forget, there's the teaser of Oppenheimer.
Oh my
that
God!
played before this.
That
Did not
teaser.
see
So
it.
obviously,
Oh, you didn't see it?
No, well, so both times I've seen Nope were both at special screenings.
Oh.
So the first time I saw it was on the Tuesday before it came out, and they never show trailers at screenings.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And
All
the
right.
second time I saw it was a special screening, so I still haven't seen
Dude.
the
All
Oppenheimer
right,
trailer.
we won't
It's
spoil it
just-
for you.
You can
but
spoil it. I don't.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter
you
to me.
gotta see it for the first time, like by yourself. It's just
It's
amazing
unbelievable.
because we went to AMC, obviously 76 trailers before the movie starts, and then commercial, and then Nicole Kidman ad. We're all
Yep,
"Woo!"
yep,
screaming
Everyone's
and
clapping.
cheering.
Yeah.
Do they do that at AMC now?
Yeah. It's a thing now.
It's been a while since I've seen a trailer, if I'm being completely honest, but I feel like last time I saw one, no one was cheering. I was excited.
It depends
to see
on
her.
what crowd you're with.
Yeah. If
Some
you're-
crowds nothing
I got-
happens,
I
but
got
this
the
crowd,
cheer-
the entire theater
I got the
erupted.
cheering going for which movie was it? At the end of the guy who screamed was me because we sat like pretty far away. The first trailer, like I went woo, and that was.
I can't
the first-
remember. I think
and
you were
then-
the one who
and then-
screamed.
No. Then it got amped up for the next trailer, and then
Uh-huh.
Nicole Kidman. Everyone was.
Yeah.
It was so fun. It was a really good crowd to see a movie with. We all reacted the same way.
But we thought that. So the way it goes is trailers, Nicole Kidman ad, movie starts.
Yeah.
And so when the Nicole Kidman ad started, we were all like, "Oh shit, we're not gonna see Oppenheimer. Why isn't it on
Ah.
this?" But then after Nicole Kidman and the AMC ads, then the Oppenheimer trailer
the
started.
signed copy logo came up,
Yeah.
and it was just incredible. The best teaser, the best trailer I've seen in a couple.
And
of
they
years.
don't. It's just literally a few shots, but and then credits explaining what it is. But like it looks
intense.
insane.
Just wait until you see it.
It
It
looks
looks
brilliant,
incredible.
yeah.
So I won't spoil what happens in it. It was Avatar: The Way of Water.
Avatar, yeah.
I
Yeah.
screamed for that because the trailer ended and everyone was saying, "I'm like, let's go! It's Avatar. It looks
Yeah.
amazing."
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't see that one until YouTube as well.
I've waited until
It looks great
see it
on
in
screen-
IMAX
on the big
theaters.
screen.
I didn't see it
Oh,
for like
man.
even it was out for like a couple weeks. I
Watching,
waited.
yeah.
What movie was that for?
Which one?
Avatar. When they showed the trailer for
The first one,
Whatever's we just saw it
it's
for
Doctor Strange. I
Doctor
think.
Strange?
Any
Yeah,
IMAX,
yeah,
Doctor
IMAX
Strange.
movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they're showing it in regular
But
theaters.
Doctor Strange was the first way you could see it. They
Yeah,
put it on Doctor Strange before online.
Yeah, but the cool thing about the Oppenheimer one, it was like part of like the open. It was like the overture of Nope, because Peele and Nolan are buds for sure, and they're really influencing each other, and they're both part of this preservation of film for directors. Scorsese, Tarantino's in that.
They're also
too.
helping develop IMAX
New
cameras
IMAX
for
cameras, so they're
filmmaking.
working with IMAX right now. So they're trying to preserve and make popular the use of IMAX cameras, which is so cool.
Well, Nolan's done this before, right?
Yeah.
For Dark Knight Rises, I think it played before like Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol.
Yeah. You
Because
can
I
only
remember
see it there.
The Bane opening,
The
yeah.
Bane opening. I remember
yeah.
I went to see Mission Impossible just for the beginning of Dark Knight
See,
Rises.
oh my god! What was really cool about that opening was it had Tom Hardy's dialogue from set.
Yeah.
Before the
They
studio made
adjusted
him.
it.
Yeah, I liked it better.
Me
His
too.
real dialogue better. There's a couple of moments in that opening where
Crushing this plane.
where it was the natural dialogue, but like 80% of that scene is dubbed over in post because of the reaction to that opening scene. When people saw it, when they saw Mission
not hear
Impossible,
him.
they couldn't understand what he was saying. I was like, I just liked the performance, so I didn't care. But
He was just voted. Tom Hardy was just voted the actor people
Yeah.
can't understand the
yeah,
most.
out of all time.
However, I think there's a handicap for him. He's constantly
in
putting
a
in
mask.
masks, and also Alfie on Peaky Blinders. No one understands a word.
Also
he's saying.
Mad Max.
Mad Max.
Yeah.
He says 8 lines in Mad Max.
Yeah, it's definitely because of his character that
Yeah.
either dressed to affect his
Because
voice.
Legend, you can understand everything he says in
Yeah,
Legend.
I mean,
well, except for the other twin.
Rock and
One
Rolla,
yeah.
Handsome Rob. He's very understandable. So I think he just takes on a lot of interesting roles.
Inception, you can understand everything he says.
Yeah, it's very true.
So maybe it depends on the role on it.
I think it's because he's been
yeah.
putting masks so often that
Yeah.
his voice is always just ruined by something else.
Yeah.
So it's not Tom
Chris
Hardy's
Nolan
fault.
had a great line where he's like, when he cast him in Dunkirk and everyone saw that he was wearing a mask the whole time, he's like, yeah, I keep covering like the most famous lips in the UK.
All you need to see is those baby blues. Handsome Rob. Now let's get back into Nope a little more. What were we just discussing?
Tom Hardy's lips.
Tom Hardy's
Tom
lips.
Hardy's lips.
It's a funny joke. We're every time we're doing an episode, somehow we end up talking about a handsome guy.
It's usually Henry Cavill.
So Henry Cavill,
lot of handsome
Ryan
out there.
Gosling,
It's fine.
a lot of handsome actors
We
that we're
talked
big fans of.
about Jupe. Talked about the characters, cinematographer.
Oh, how about just the imagery in general? Where I love the wacky arm inflatable flailing arm guys, which is just like the cinematographer's filming on the cliff, and he's like, "Isn't that just the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen in your life?"
Yeah.
Just all the animal things flying around. So like, there's really cool, interesting ideas that Jordan Peele came up with just to capture on film and just to contrast an alien in the sky. We have wacky arm inflatable flailing arm guys. It's just really fun.
I mean, we grew up; those are commonly used for
They're everywhere.
advertisements
Yeah,
and
there's
in
cars.
storefronts.
Yeah, car washes.
Yeah.
It's usually like used car lots.
Yeah. I have one little tiny thing about the movie that I was kind of a little underwhelmed about. It seemed like in the finale, OJ wasn't really involved too much. Emerald basically took out the alien by herself, I would say. And then, like during that entire 10-minute sequence, I was like, "Oh, what's OJ doing?" And then we didn't see him until the alien was already dead.
So yeah, when they were both looking on opposite sides of the aliens.
So they kept distracting the alien, and then Emerald took the alien out. And then I was like,
and got the Oprah shot.
Yeah. I was like, is OJ gonna do something? And then he just wasn't involved for that 10-minute sequence at all, really. So I was like, oh, I hope OJ's getting involved, and then he didn't.
Well, he did have the sickest shot.
Yeah,
the ending cowboy shot in the smoke.
That was a great shot.
Like classic Western cowboy
I think the
shot.
assumption is that he sacrificed himself and was bait.
Yeah,
and I think that's what we were supposed to think. Oh, he sacrificed himself and is dead, and that's why he didn't show up.
Still very heroic.
But what's really cool is OJ is wearing orange for orange juice, and then Emerald's wearing a green jersey for green.
Oh yeah,
for Emerald. They both wear their colors.
Interesting.
The Scorpion King joke was so
the
funny.
Scorpion King.
And then he grabs the Scorpion King hoodie up, and that was so funny. Not a lot of people caught it on the text on the shirt, but it was a good laugh. Yeah.
Oh,
it was great to see Keith David because Jordan Peele's a huge John Carpenter fan, and to see Keith David, one of the leads from The Thing, one of the best horror films ever made, was like just a great little calling card to John Carpenter.
Yeah, but so many interesting ideas. I love the concept and the idea of how OJ's in M's father died with everything falling from the sky. It just makes a lot of sense because it's really interesting where the alien can't digest anything non-organic, and then obviously just all these things start falling down, and then when it just shoots everything onto the house because it's angry with the people. That was such a great imagery
the
of
blood pouring down the steps,
blood rain pouring down. So there's a pretty good amount of blood in this movie, but I think just unique imagery is just also really important to this film as well. And just that was one of my favorite shots, was the first like wide shot of the house after all the blood was being rained down on it, and then when OJ's car breaks down outside in the rain, he can't see what's going on at the house yet, and then the flying saucer starts to move and the rain stops above him.
First it gets really very intense from it coming off the side of the ship, and then it stops, and you're like, oh my god.
Really, really great practical filmmaking and planning. Excellent job.
I liked also the setup for the characters when he's going to that whatever video shoot or commercial shoot, and the disrespect that the crew has for him. It felt really realistic. I've been on a bunch of sets like that, and sometimes the people in charge, they treat other people like garbage, especially people who aren't involved in like the real crew. So I thought it was really accurate to see the reactions he's getting from people. Like when that producer found out that his dad died, he's like, "Oh, we're stuck with him." And OJ can hear all of it whispering in the distance, and the disrespect that people can have in that industry for other people it's real. And I thought Jordan Peele probably knows from experience what that's like. I thought it was a really great thing to put into the film. Also establish what that character's relationship is like with other people, which is why he's very silent, very stoic, seems to get along better with animals than he does with people.
One of my favorite pieces of sound design in the movie is like the slowing down and distortion of music that happens, whether it's from M playing music in the house and the power goes out, or inside the cars and trucks, and then like something happens where it's just distorted like forever. It just sounds like kind of like a slowing down merry-go-round or something like that. It's really,
when Angel's
really cool.
car turns back on, that song's in slow-mo.
That's the best part. That part with the fog and everything is one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie. It's so eerie, but it's shot in a way that makes it so like you're just sucked into the screen. It's playing the Sunglasses at Night song, but like really, really slow, and then Jean Jacket shows up. It's a great moment.
And you can't see 10 feet in front of you, so the alien could be anywhere. It could be anywhere.
It's terrifying. And also, this is an alien movie. It's a horror movie. There's a lot going on, the spectacle of everything, but it's also just like a family drama between a brother and a sister, between Em and OJ, and just kind of like they're so divided early on in the film. She doesn't, anytime he brings up doing work, she's like, oh, no, I'm out of here. See you later. Have fun with that. He's trying to save the farm and keep the legacy alive that their father created. But they really just come together and just become kind of reunited and rekindle their siblingship, if that's a word, together by the end of the film. And it's really great working together. And I really like that. It's deep down, it's just like a family drama as well.
Yeah, they had great chemistry on screen, the two of them. It was terrific.
I want to go, this is late, but I want to go back to the cinematography we talked about earlier. My favorite thing about the cinematography in the movie is that it makes the sky feel like an ocean, which is why I always relate this movie back to Jaws, because in many ways the sky is like the ocean. It's huge, it's vast, and the way Jean Jacket moves through the sky is much like a shark. You don't know where it's at all times, and it hides in the clouds. And the way the cinematography is shot it just enhances that. Like you said, it's pointed up. And it can be anywhere, and like you're constantly looking, but you don't know where it's at. It's so much like a shark.
Yeah. What do you guys think about the final shape of the alien?
Really interesting and unique, and I'm still thinking about what the hell it is. It's really fascinating, and
I would define it as a shapeshifter.
Yeah,
is what I would define it as, like a shape-shifting animal. But and then it seemed to be like its texture is like more cloth-like than anything like flesh, because it has like, it looks like it's either its face. I would say its face was those green ribbons in a square.
Yeah,
I think that's his face.
If it's his face,
I think that's the face of the alien.
You called it a stingray. I heard someone call it a butterfly, a moth. I heard some of the movies call it a mushroom. I mean, you can call it anything at this point.
But to go back to the sky being a great like symbolism of the Jaws ocean and the shark. Also, I think there was a great reference to Jaws with when we first see the shark and like the full body image when it like finally like comes out of the water, and we see like a great side shot of it swing past, and then when we finally see a great shot of the underbelly of the ship, the alien, when it comes over the cliff and they're getting the footage and it just comes next to them, and you get to see the underbelly of the ship and what's underneath there. So it's really fascinating. I should have thought of Jaws and the shark in that moment as well,
because all the shots in the first half of the movie were pretty far away from it, so we can't really tell the size of it. And then one character says that the opening on the bottom is like the size of two school buses.
Yeah.
But then when you see it in scale with OJ riding the horseback, and then it's behind OJ, then you see the scale of it with a human being there. You're like, oh my god, this thing is massive. It's huge. Yeah. And it can fit like 60 people inside of it.
Yeah, I love all the references to Spielberg. There's a Poltergeist reference when Fried Angel goes like, "It's here."
Oh,
he shows up. So like, I feel like when that happened, everybody kind of perked up. Like, definitely a lot of homage to like Spielberg.
I love the grasshopper
on the camera.
The praying mantis.
Praying mantis.
That praying mantis better pray I don't see it again.
Yeah. I'm sure there's some deeper symbolism with the praying mantis as a predator, because from what I understand, I mean, I'm not a biology major or into what's the entomology for bugs. But from what I understand, praying mantises are like the apex bug predator. They are the ones that like you don't mess with the praying mantis. They're very dangerous, and plus they're also the ones that like eat the heads off their mates. So
I love that. That's cool.
They're like the top bug. So I'm sure they're like that's some plays in some way.
It's got big eyes outside of its head, so it was
scary.
Like
They should have put those in Honey I Shrunk the Kids. They would not have survived.
They'd be dead. They would have been killed.
The ants they could
imagine if those things were giant. We'd be done.
Ants in general, they're pretty strong.
Ants and praying mantises, man,
pretty fascinating.
We get a couple praying mantises in this yard sometimes.
But I mean, I also really like the spectacle of this movie. The advertising, the hype was so big for this movie. I hope it makes a ton more money. I'm sure it'll probably hit $200 million, which is so high for an original idea, original movie.
It's actually the biggest box office for a weekend since his last film,
for an original idea, non-IP.
Yeah.
And so also Jupiter's Claim, the town that Jupe runs, and he bought and turned into his own thing. They actually, at Universal Studios in Los Angeles, they have now Jupiter's Claim there as well, so you can go visit it when you go to Universal, which is really cool.
You can tell Universal put a lot of money into this, and it's great to see a black filmmaker getting the trust of a studio to be like, whatever your vision is, here's the money for it. Because Blumhouse began working with Universal, so that's how Jordan Peele got the connection with Universal through Get Out. But just give this guy all the money he needs to exercise his vision. Clearly, they did not interfere in anything. I think Jordan's like filmmaker where you're like, just do what you want, and it's gonna be great. You can tell there was no studio interference. You could tell there was no notes. Things had to get cut. It wasn't like Thor: Love and Thunder where half the movie was edited out because the studio wasn't happy.
Or The Northman.
Yeah, or The Northman being edited up. It's like you see a filmmaker's true vision, which is actually ironic because I think Universal also produced The Northman.
Did they produce it?
I can't remember who did it.
Yeah, I think so. It might have been. Or Paramount.
That was Focus.
It was Focus.
I think it was Focus.
Focus produced it, and then Paramount distributed it, so they changed it for the distribution. Gotcha. But it's great to see, a studio give a big budget to a filmmaker. He still only had made 2 movies. Yes, they made good returns on investment, but it's not like you have a Chris Nolan who can get whatever he wants because he made 3 huge Batman movies and then Inception, so like the guy can get whatever he wants for a budget in his final cut. Like he made a lot of films to earn that, but Jordan Peele getting the trust from a studio so early on, I think is really great.
Yeah, especially a black filmmaker getting the budgets and the trust of a big studio. I mean, Ryan Coogler obviously has been getting that with Marvel with the Black Panther films. Then even before that, Spike Lee, his movies don't get very high budgets and for when he's making those movies. And then
Inside Man was his biggest budget.
Yeah, and then I mean Antoine Fuqua, he was a black filmmaker that was getting big budgets for a while too.
King Arthur was
but in terms of like
movie.
making a movie with black lead characters, he's only done that a couple times. And when you think about his biggest budgets, probably Magnificent Seven, then King Arthur doesn't even have any black characters, I don't think, at all. So, maybe I haven't seen the movie in a while.
I don't think so.
That's not the Jamie Foxx one, or is
no,
that
it's the Clive Owen one.
The Clive Owen one.
Yeah, Antoine Fuqua
awesome
made
movie,
it.
but Fuqua's an awesome director that's been getting big budgets for a while.
Yeah, Denzel, his movies with Denzel, the Equalizer are probably his biggest budgets with a black lead.
Yeah, but I think, like Anthony said earlier, Jordan Peele is one of the most exciting and inventive filmmakers working today. I will always be at the theater whenever he comes out with something. I can't wait to see his next movie. He's just top of the list right now, in the top of the list for my favorite directors right now working. And this was such a great change of pace, because I read a quote where he said that, Nope and Get Out have a similar thematic element that he brought in tone, but he wanted to do something more fun and change up the perception of black characters in horror films rather than in his past two films. He wanted to mix it up and make it like a more fun experience.
Yeah, because I mean, in Get Out, Kaluuya's the victim of white people, and then in this film, it's just a movie with normal lead characters, and they just happen to be black actors representing what would be the tropes of like a heroic white guy playing the leading role of a ranch. We just have Kaluuya instead. So I think it was great. This cast was excellent. I mean, Kaluuya is really one of the best actors working today. If anyone isn't familiar with his work other than Get Out, he's in a great Black Mirror episode. It's one of their strongest episodes in the entire series. I recommend you check that out. He just kills that role. He's just super talented. Judah and Black Messiah, he's just on fire right now.
Good Sicario.
Sicario, he's great in
too,
Sicario.
yeah, he's awesome
great
in
in Sicario.
Yeah. Sicario a lot.
Yeah, so he's blowing up, man. Much deserved. He's so talented. And also, I watched him on Hot Ones. He's so charming and funny.
He's funny, yeah.
Super cool guy. He's got a great London accent as well.
He's producing movies too now.
Yeah. Well, he wants to make that Barney movie at some point.
Oh, yeah.
But there's we saw a trailer for something last night, a documentary. It was like that mockumentary. And I can't remember what it's called. It was like Jesus Will Save Your Life or something. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
He produced it. Yeah.
Okay,
He produced that
right,
movie. Yeah.
That looks really good.
Yeah, it looks funny.
It looks really funny. You guys got any closing remarks for Nope?
Are we going to be ranking it? Where does it fall in the three films?
In the three films? I'm probably putting it for Jordan Peele's career. I mean, I got to see it again. I've only seen it once.
Yeah.
I still think Get Out's number one for me, because that's such a groundbreaking movie and so inventive. And I think for a filmmaker's debut film, that is top 10 all time. Like, that's up there with like Reservoir Dogs for like a filmmaker's first movie, and just kind of like revamping the horror genre in general with this great horror boom we've been having. So I'm putting Get Out number one. Right now I got Nope at number two. It could move up to number one if I see it again, who knows. And then I have Us at number three. But I had so much, I think I had the most fun out of his three movies watching this one in theaters. It was just a great event to do in person. It was so fun.
Mine exactly the same, almost word for word. Get Out, Nope, Us. Nope is the most fun I've had, but Get Out is probably the most transformative in terms of his career, and like you said, groundbreaking in terms of a debut film. But yeah, Nope is a lot of fun. I like Us a lot, though. I don't want to get anybody wrong. I like Us a lot, probably more than most people. I like Us.
Mm-hmm. I hate to sound like a broken record, guys, but I'm going the same.
Of course, he hears us.
Yeah.
Then
Get your own thoughts,
whatever
man.
you guys said.
He's erasing his paper right now.
But I think Get Out is a masterpiece, one of the best films of the century. And Nope, I loved it as well. It's a great event film, great scares, great horror, great fun comedy. Like, he just firing on all cylinders.
But I mean, for your first three movies from a new filmmaker,
pretty good.
Incredible.
Very good.
That
Very
is top-notch stuff. He's gonna when his career's over, he's gonna be
what
one
I
of the
found
best
so
all time.
weird, I actually walked into this film. Well, actually, I walked into it very excited, but a couple days before, they had not released the embargo for reviews.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Until Wednesday night.
Until Wednesday night. So I was like, is this gonna be a bad movie? Because like, if a studio holds the embargo until the day before release.
Explain what the embargo is.
So the embargo is when critics and reviewers can release their reviews of a movie.
Yeah.
And so if a studio knows a movie's gonna do great, excellent reviews, they will let critics drop their reviews 2 weeks, even earlier than that, before a movie comes out, because they want the buildup of like anticipation of like positive reviews, high Rotten Tomatoes score. That gets people excited. And so they want to drop that as soon as possible if it's good reviews. So if a movie is bad and a studio knows it, a la Morbius, a couple other movies
What do you
recently.
mean Morbius was bad?
What are you talking about?
It made $1 more billion.
But when a studio knows when they have a bad one, and so they'll hold the embargo until the last minute, which is the day before release, until critics can release their reviews for a movie. So for Morbius is an example where there was no critic reviews, no Rotten Tomatoes score, nothing until that Wednesday.
No social media reviews.
No
either.
social media reviews. And so they do that because they don't want negative press and negative reviews to prevent people from going to see the movie. So that happened with this, where they didn't release their embargo until the day before the movie. So I was like, this is a really bad sign. Like, why? And looking back on it, I'm like, why didn't they release the reviews? It got great reviews. So I found it curious. Now, 2 days before the movie, I was like worried, like, is this movie going to be bad? But then I was like, when the reviews finally came out, it was like a 90%. And also the IMDb was great. Letterboxd was a good rating. So I was like, okay.
And also within 2 minutes, I'm like, all right, this is going to be sick.
Yeah.
So I found it weird.
The embargoes is interesting because there's two types, right? There's the actual review embargo, then the social media reaction embargo.
Yeah, you just get the sound bite. Yeah.
So like on Twitter, critics could post like a brief my reaction to the movie and then not release like a point score. So the social reactions I think came out like the week of or a week before, and most of it was like, this is epic, this is great. There's a couple people who were
But
like,
that happens with bad movies too.
Yeah, exactly. So this one, the reviews didn't come out until I think Wednesday morning. My email was like, you can release an email Wednesday at 9 a.m. PST. So I was like, okay, that's good to know. But yeah, it is usually a kind of a warning sign, because it's like
it's a red flag.
You know, is that going to be bad? Going to be good? What movie? Where the Crawdads Sing was a movie that I saw 2 weeks before it came out, but I couldn't say anything until I think a day or two before the movie came out, and then I ripped it to shreds because I didn't like it.
And to contrast, Top Gun, the critic reviews were coming out like 2 weeks before, and it had like a great score like 2 weeks before release. People knew it was great.
Yeah. And I think that, I don't know if Top Gun's an anomaly because it premiered at Cannes, so like a lot of people already watched it. So if they wanted people to get out and maybe talk about it, so.
That's okay. It's all good.
Oh, you're good. You're good. So yeah, I mean, the embargoes are weird, but this was definitely something I was worried about, but I'm glad it turned out to be
same.
Loved it. Awesome experience. I hope you all saw it in IMAX. Jordan Peele wants you to see his movies in IMAX. So doesn't Christopher Nolan. So don't we. So thanks so much for tuning into this review of Nope. Thanks so much to our guest, Joe, for joining us. Joe, plug your stuff again.
Yeah, once again, my name is Joe. TikTok, Cinema Joe. Instagram, Cinema Joe. Twitter, Cinema Joe. All of it, Cinema Joe. And then you can find me on Letterboxd. You can just look up my name. I'm there writing reviews, watching too many movies.
There's no such thing as too many movies.
Maybe not such. Sometimes it is.
You got bills to pay.
Got bills to pay. And then you can check out my podcast, House of Cinema. And then that's basically it.
House of Cinema. Available everywhere, right?
Everywhere. Spotify, Apple, Google Play.
Google Podcast.
Yeah, we get like 1% downloads from there.
Yeah.
Amazon Podcast.
Last FM. I don't know.
Castbox.
I just learned about that one. Yeah,
there's a bunch of them.
So thanks so much for joining us for this episode. We really appreciate you. You're the first in-studio guest we've ever had.
Right. I expect my picture on the wall soon.
For sure. It's like SNL. But the set is almost done, and so thanks for coming and checking it out.
Oh, let's do a rank out of 10 for Nope.
Oh, for Nope?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to give Nope a 9.
I give Nope a 9 out of 10.
I've given Nope 9 out of 10 as well.
Excellent review, excellent rating.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. Be sure to become a patron at patreon.com/Raiders of the Lost Podcast. Take care.
Take care, y'all.
Nope. This episode of Raiders of the Lost Podcast was executive produced by our chosen one patrons: Luke Exelston, Tyler McFly, Darren Singleton, John A. Graz, Cody Moen, Calvin Cam, and Lauren Smertz. Raiders of the Lost Podcast is a mirror image production. Sound mixing done by Jacob Kossler. Opening music by Chase Jackson.